Can you forgive someone out of peer or family pressure? Of course, I know you can, but what if the thing they did was really bad and almost unforgivable? Would you still give in and let them into your family? I'm asking because that's exactly what I'm going through, guys, to the T. Well, let me walk you through it. I'm 31 male and I'm struggling to do something because of all my closest family members are expecting me to do something else. It's such a bad thing that I don't want to forgive a person who betrayed the entire family and ran away when everybody needed him. Let me give you guys some context first. So, I do run a very successful family business and live with my wife and daughter in a really nice house that we built for ourselves. Most of the people who work in the business are my close family members, and this makes working fun and does not feel like work at all. As you can see, after years of hard work, my life was going pretty well until my brother showed up to ruin my peace. One day, I learned that my brother had moved in quite close to us, and later that day he came to visit us. I told him that he was not welcome in my house, and he tried to apologize for what he's done in the past and told me that he had changed. He said that after going away, he had learned the value of family, and now, when he could, he wanted to move in close proximity to the family. I told him that I did not care about any of his BS and told him to step out of my property before I made him. He tried to apologize some more, but when he was sure that it was not working, he left. You know, that was the start of his never-ending annoyance, as even that same day my wife told me that I was a bit harsh. Let me tell you why I acted like this with my brother when he showed up. So, he's actually my biological brother, and we were raised together. I used to love him a lot until recently I realized what kind of person he had turned into. He was always a little greedy, but I always thought that was because he was young and that he would slowly grow out of it. About 5 years ago, our parents passed away and my brother and I were left to take over the family business. Our business had not been doing well for a few years, and it was clear that there was a lot of work to be done if we wanted to save the business from dying. I knew it would be a very rough, tough, stressful job to turn this dying business into an absolute successful one, but I believed that I could do it with the help of my brother and other family members. It turns out my brother had different plans. So, a few days later, he contacted me telling me that he had an idea about what they could do about the business. I was happy that he was also thinking the same thing as me, until I heard what he said. He wanted me to help him sell the business and take the money so that both of us could live comfortably. He said that since we already would be getting the insurance money, and on top of that, if we sold our business, we would be pretty wealthy. I told him that I could not believe what he was saying, and that he was thinking of making money in the situation, and I explained to him that if we forked out this business and tried to work on it and made it successful, we would earn so much more money, and that way we would not have to sell it. He said that even if it worked, which was not a guarantee, we would still have to work very hard and that it would just take too long. Well, according to him, we had an easy way out and he wanted to take it. I reminded him that not only was this business our parents' dream that they worked night and day for, but also that many of our family members depended on it to live a comfortable life. I told him that his business was a responsibility left to us by our parents and that together we could make the business great again. It looked like he was very understanding, so I told him that I was thinking of investing the insurance money in the business and he refused. He tells me that he didn't care about the business or our family members and told me to do whatever I wanted but leave him alone. A few months later, as soon as the insurance money was released, he rushed away somewhere to enjoy his newfound wealth and left me alone to rebuild a broken business. Ugh, I can't express how hard it was. But after putting in years of hard work and countless sleepless nights, I was fortunately able to turn the business into a successful one. And not even 6 months after my business turned big, my brother shows his face and said he wanted to be a part of it. So tell me, am I wrong to be suspicious? Anywho, I obviously could not trust my brother that easily, right? And I did fully believe that I was never going to forgive him for betraying me, our parents, and family members. My brother also did not give up. He kept showing up at my house, apologizing, and I just kept throwing him out, and my wife told me that I should at least give him a chance since he was trying so hard to apologize. I tried to make her understand why he was even there. It was clear to me that all my brother wanted was more money, and he was most probably here to make me pay him again money for his share of the business. My wife told me that he could have also changed after all this time, and it could be that he was genuinely here to reconnect with us. She said that if I did not give him a chance, I would never know. So, even though what my wife said made sense to me, I was still not keen on giving my brother another chance. After a while of this, he also managed to get the family members on his side, and, well, this made it tougher to keep saying no, but I managed to hold out for just a few weeks. My family members only know that my brother left me alone to build the business and have no idea that he wanted to throw them under the bus for money. I did not tell them the entire truth because I didn't feel that it was necessary at the time, and now it was coming back to bite me. My family members kept pushing me to let him rejoin the family as he had managed to convince them that he deeply regretted ever leaving. I tried to make them understand that he was not a good person and was definitely not here to play family, but they refused to even comprehend. At one point, I did think about telling everybody the truth, but I felt that if my brother had actually changed, this would be a very cruel thing to do. And also because my wife got mad at me when I told her I should tell everyone. Well, I went ahead to explain to my family members that what my brother had done was absolutely unforgivable, in my book, as he had left our parents' dream and hard work to enjoy his life. I would tell them that even if I were to accept him as a family member due to peer pressure, I would never trust him or genuinely think that he was my family ever again. They agreed, and about a month ago, I told my brother that he could come back to the family. I also made it crystal clear to him that this did not mean in any way that I would ever forgive or trust him, and he said that it would come with time. Throughout the entire month, my brother spent most of his time in trying to get close to me so that I would forgive him. Even after I let him in, he still kept apologizing and saying that even though he was not a child, he was too naive to understand what I had asked of him and chose to leave his family out of pure stupidity. Out of about 100 times, I did feel like he was actually being genuine and regretted doing what he did. Slowly, I started believing that he had somewhat changed and would have probably forgiven him in a few months, but then he did this. A few days ago, just 1 month shy of becoming a family member, he told me that he wanted a part of the family business, meaning that he wanted to join the business and work with our family and me. This was enough for me to understand his motive fully, and I kicked him out of my house immediately. Ever since then, for the last several days, my wife and other family members, including my uncle, have been telling me that his wanting to work with us is not a bad thing. He says that he understands what he made me go through, but at the end of the day, he is my brother, and this is what my parents would have wanted. They seem to think that he's learned his lesson and now wants to work with the family, happily. He's mostly of the family members, including my wife, advocating that there's no harm in letting him join the business, and they kind of are forcing me to do it. Here is where I'm stuck. I know for a fact that my brother has not changed. Even if I cannot prove it, and there's no way that I will willingly take him into business without any plan, I don't know how I can convince them to let this go. And if I have to bring him in, what should I even do? The actual point of writing this post was to see if I could get any good ideas that I could use in this situation. Guys, if you have any ideas on what I can do, please, please, please let me know, as that would help me out big time. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. I hope you guys are enjoying your day and having a fantastic week. I wanted to talk about this story really quickly. I know we're not through the updates, but what would you do? Would you allow your brother to come back to work with you, knowing that it's probably going to bite you in the butt, or would you give in and say, you know what, my wife wants this, my family wants this, maybe I should let my brother come back? Let me know. Pause the video, drop a comment, and after the video is unpaused and we finish the updates, go back to your comment and see, well, did you make the right choice? Guys, my name's Mr. Reddito once again, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for daily videos, and yes, that does support the channel. Guys, let's jump into update number 1. Wow. Hey, it's been a few weeks since my last update, and I want to thank everybody for trying to help me with their suggestions and ideas. I got so many great ideas and supportive messages from you guys, and I wanted to tell each and every one of you that I appreciate you. Let me tell you guys what ended up happening. Over the past few weeks, my brother and a few family members, especially my uncle, kept nagging me to give him a position. I kept denying it and told them that they need to stop asking of me this, as I was not going to change my mind no matter what. Well, one day during my dinner with my closest family, my brother mentioned this once again, and my uncle backed him, saying that he deserved it, and this was making me mad, but I was controlling myself well until my brother said this. He got up and said this business was just as much his as it was mine. Well, he wasn't asking to replace me or others, but instead wanted to be a part of the business and work together with us. He said that this is what our parents would have wanted, and I ended up losing my composure and told him that he did not deserve any sort of kindness from me. I reminded him that I had already offered him half of the entire business more than 5 years ago, and he chose to run away with the money. Now that the business is successful and earning well, he wants to come back, but I won't let him. Somehow that ended up looking really bad for me, and as I learned later that some family members thought that I was unfair to him. As I mentioned, they think that my brother only abandoned the business, and I'm pretty sure that he had shared enough sad stories to make it believable that he regrets his choice. Once again, it could also be true that my brother does not regret anything, but at this point I don't think anything can make me trust him. The following week, several family members told me that they supported my brother and that he deserved the spot in the business his parents made. I also learned that my brother is guilt-tripping the family members and trying to make me look bad in front of them so that I will include him in the business. He's making it sound like I'm not giving him his birthright, and weirdly enough, it's working. I'm being forced to reconsider my decision, and I finally decided to do something about it. I've set up a meeting tomorrow with all the family members who work in our business, and I've told them that if the majority decide, which I'm sure they will, I will let my brother join the business. I do have a plan that'll help me reveal his true intentions to my family, and I will provide an update on what happens next. Update number 2. Wow. The meeting went almost exactly as I thought it would. Wow. Almost all of my family members agreed to let my brother be a part of the business, while only a few decided to trust me to oppose the notion. The next day, I invited my brother to my house and told him that we had decided to include him in the business. He looked genuinely happy to be included and told me, that I would not regret giving him this opportunity. The next several days went by quietly, but as more time passed, I started to notice the more and more family members were challenging my decision, even criticizing my work and doing other things that genuinely had not really happened before. Slowly, it got to the point where I was being blamed for every minor error. 1% drop in business, and other stuff like that, and I pretty much guessed immediately that this was the work of my brother, as he probably wanted to lead the business himself and was trying to make me look incompetent to get the position. 1 week, our business suffered a huge loss and wasn't really anybody's fault and was just an unfortunate situation, but as you might have already guessed, my brother managed to shift the blame onto my leadership. So during the next meeting, as I was bombarded by questions about why I let this happen, I asked a question. Who wanted a change in leadership? My brother was most probably not expecting this to happen, and the shock of his face was evident. My brother tried to pretend to support me and said that nobody was saying I was not a good leader. I asked everyone once more, and the majority said that they wanted to try my brother. I asked him if he wanted the position, and it was obvious from his face that this was what he had came here for. He agreed, and I stepped down as my position and made him the head of the business, the CEO, baby. Well, let's see what happens. Update number 3. So, the next day when I let my brother in and met him, he did not look like the same person he was yesterday. He was happy, he was confident, and as soon as I came in, he asked our uncle to bring out the papers and I signed them. And everyone congratulated him, and as soon as he got power in his hand, he immediately said that he was firing me, and all the family members who supported me. Everyone else there and I were shocked, and for a good minute nobody spoke a word, and I told him on what grounds he has to fire me. and he said that he could do whatever he wants. He's the CEO. When other family members tried to speak up, he threatened to fire them too, and they had to keep their mouths shut. I tried to put some sense into him, telling him that this was not a good decision. And he told me that I was of no use to the business anymore. We were served a notice and we would have to leave by the end of the week, but all of us left right away. That very night, I went to visit him, and he invited me in and told me that no matter how much I begged him, he would not bring me back in. I said that I wasn't there to do that and asked him why he was doing all this. I knew he wasn't interested in the business or the position, so I asked what his goal was. He said that I was going to find out very soon. Then I told him that I was there to give him one last chance, and if he showed me that he could change, I wouldn't do what I planned on doing. He just laughed and said that all I could do right now was give him empty threats, and I said that he would find out soon. And I also asked him how he could fire those family members without feeling an ounce of remorse, and he said the same thing, that he never cared about them, and they were trying to stop him from claiming what was rightfully his. Update number 4. Hey, I'm back with the final update. This is it, and I've come here to tell you guys how things have turned out. Well, the day of the meeting came, and I went to see just what I had planned to do with the business. He sarcastically thanked me for coming and also for taking care of this business until he came in. I did not give him any reply because he was only looking for a reaction, and I didn't have to clap back because I had something else in store for him. Then he revealed that his plan was to sell our business to a big company because this would essentially make him rich. I expected him to do many stupid things, but in this position, this was something I had never imagined he would do. When members started questioning why, he started telling them all the benefits, none of which were true though. When they kept nagging him about their freedom being taken, he said that it was because it would make him rich, and he didn't care about their freedom. He then made it clear that anybody who tried to speak against him would not have a job to complain about. Then he looked at me and thanked me for not letting him sell the business 5 years ago, because now he would make sure he got a fortune out of it. Absolute fortune. Well, honestly, at this point, I was getting bored hearing him celebrate his victory, so I decided it's time that I stand up. I told my brother to shut up for a second, and everybody stopped acting. When everybody stopped complaining at once, he realized that something was definitely wrong. Then I asked everybody if they had seen enough of him and now believed me. Everybody said yes. My brother looked very confused, so I did him the favor of explaining. I told him that he has, I suspected I never really trusted him, but since my family members kept asking me to, I made a plan that they did not believe me when I tried telling them what kind of person he was. So I'm going to show them. As soon as I figured out that he was planning on turning my family members against me and taking my position, I told all of the members to play along and see what he does. I also made sure that a few members would still take my side so that he would not be suspicious. And lastly, but probably the best one yet, I got my uncle to make fake transfer papers, since he trusted my uncle fully and signed them in front of him, giving him fake power. As I explained what I've done, my brother looked like he was frozen in time, and he was shocked that he could not muster up a word for what? A good 30 seconds? The first words that came out of his mouth was, "You're lying," and I told him he could refuse to believe it, but I have evidence, and since our uncle was right there, I asked him to confirm it. When he did, I could see the tower of confidence inside my brother crumble down, and a sense of what did I just do? I told him that I was still the head of the company, but, not for long. I then asked my uncle to fire my brother kindly, and I told him never to show his face in front of the family or me again. He started crying and begged me that the power had gotten to him and he had made such a mistake. I told him I'd already tried to give him a fair chance twice, but he sabotaged himself. Then I told him I would give him another chance, and if he could just convince our family members to forgive him. He begged each and every one of them, every single one, but they all unanimously decided that he should be kicked out of the family and the business. It's been about a month since then, a good 30 days, and everything is slowly drifting right back to norm, and the business is running smoother than ever. Since that day, I've not seen or heard anything from my brother, and I'm praying that it stays that way, but let me ask you this. If you were in my position and had to deal with your brother, what would you have done? Let me know. See ya.